How do?
How do?
It's always good to smile. I'll put that there, then I can see where we're at.
Yeah, no problem.
So guys, a lot of new subscribers to the channel. The format for today, got a young man here, Mike or Mikey P even. At some point we're going to do his story, but the idea of sitting down and doing 20 questions there or thereabouts is to give you guys an idea of who somebody is. Some of the questions are a bit light-hearted, some might be a bit serious. It's like a quick fire round. Is there aught you'd like to say, mate, before we get going?
No, just
what about who's inspired you?
Holly in particular. Her story resonates quite.
If you're new to the channel, I'll put links in the pinned comment. Holly was a lass who used to work with a prison governor, struggled all her life, mental health, late on in life, well not late on as in late on, she's still a young lass, but she was diagnosed as borderline personality disorder. Mike has watched a lot of these videos, people who've been on the channel. Paul the Copper,
Yeah.
domestic violence.
Yep.
So like I said, that's why we're here. So we'll just start nice and light-hearted, and away we go. First question. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
One thing you would change about yourself?
My dependence on alcohol and painkillers, and to get help with the other side of me. I call him Mark, but he's not a nice person. So, and he needs some help with that side of my life because he's causing a lot of problems for me and other people.
First question, depending on who I'm talking to. So, you're alcoholic.
Yep.
You did get addicted to prescription painkillers.
Yes. Still am.
Tough gig.
Yeah.
Are you a religious or spiritual person?
I do believe there is a higher power. When I was a kid, I would pray for, better days, that sort of stuff. Crossing your fingers. When I used to look out of a window, I had to look twice, otherwise it wouldn't be sunny the next day. Things like that.
Things that we all do.
Yeah.
So it don't have to be a religious thing. You don't even have to call it spiritual.
I know somebody's out there who looked after everybody. Whatever race or creed or whatever you are. That's
I think it's comfortable.
Yeah.
To think that way, me.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, Mikey, I think we're here, before we get onto these questions now, I think we're here because he's at a bit of a crossroads in his life, and
yeah, 100%.
Statistically, he's a young lad, young man. I don't know about worldwide, but certainly in this country, biggest killer of young men under 40 is suicide. At times you've probably drunk and taken enough medication. I'd probably be under one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's nothing to be proud of. It's been a journey over 10 years. It came. I was sort of sideswiped. I just basically broke my hand at work. That's how I ended up with a painkiller addiction. Yes, I used to drink, but I was just sort of like a weekend drinker. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, takeaway time, that sort of stuff. But by as the years have gone on, with the stuff that's happened with relationships and with children and things like that, it's got massively out of hand to the point now where I in my worst points, although we've reduced it by half now, I was on 4 bottles of Prosecco a day, 40 painkillers, 40 Zapain painkillers, and 10 sleeping tablets. So that was essentially putting me into you know,
be like a psychosis.
Yeah. So I can't remember anything when I'm in them states, and I've got myself into trouble as well in them states. So, but since I've backed it off, you know, I've not gone into any of that sort of psychosis, if you like. So it's definitely to do with the sleeping tablets, the painkillers, and the drink. So
you have got a purpose now, though, haven't you?
Yeah, 100%.
You realise that you're a point in your life now. While, you know, if you carry on, 40 is not achievable, is it?
No, not at the minute. My body is slowly, well, it has been breaking down for the last 10 years, and you know, I would work 10 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours a day, you know, as a technician, vehicle technician, and you know, just through musculoskeletal issues and things like that, you know, the painkiller addiction sort of ramped up, you know, to the point where, you know, in the end, it was affecting me personality, you know, struggling to keep things together at work, and I had people, you know, at work, although they kept me in a job, you know, they should have recognised, you know, there was serious problems and I needed
you have
help.
a duty care to people, don't you?
But I just basically got patched up and sent back in.
The thing is, functioning alcoholic, quite definitely, worked all your life.
Yeah.
The lad has got skills, and I mean skills. Toyota technician, Audis, you know, at some point over the last 15 years, if you had a nice Toyota and it was taken in for an engine rebuild or something, chances are this lad did it in a day.
Yeah.
Engine out, repaired, back in, and running.
Yeah, but I mean, that was things being done in a day. That was because it was repetitive work. You know, the first handful of them jobs would take me a week, 2 weeks. You know, but you know, by the time you've done 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, you know, every torque setting, you know, every nut bolt, torque setting, so on and so forth. It's just that easy. You know, once you've been through the process once or twice, if you know what I mean.
You have skills, definitely, mate.
Cheers.
If you're in a bad mood, will you prefer to be alone or have company?
Yes, I've always been a bit of a loner, but I've always been in long-term relationships pretty much since being 15. Well, a little bit younger than that, actually. I had 2 long-term-ish type relationships at school from 14 up until I was about 16. And then I had a brief period between 16 and passing my driving test. And as soon as I passed my driving test and qualified as a technician, I met my son's mum, and then I was just basically locked into long-term relationships. But it's like everything, it's, you know, good and bad on both sides. But you know, I've always had a partner there, you know. So that's how my life's sort of gone. So yes, I'm a loner. I don't have many friends, but me partners have always been me.
I think that's what you find. You know, I've got lots of friends, not who I see a lot.
Yeah.
Because your life becomes like your sort of family, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's an ideal weekend now for you, Mikey?
I don't really have any ideal weekends. It's consisted of. I've not seen my son for a long time, through no fault of my own, and so really weekend times have sort of been quite selfish and just tuned out and basically been drunk most of the time, which, you know, I am gutted about, but it's yeah. It's
You have got a partner now who supports you.
Yeah. She's
I think it's important to mention
she's
that.
lovely. Yeah.
What did you want to be when you were growing up? Sorry, cut you off there.
I wanted to be a mechanic. Yeah.
So you...
Yeah. That's. I when I was at school, I had a chain of events happen when I was 7, and I just totally lost my focus at school. You know. And so I was never able really to push myself academically, even though I know I'm switched on. You know, I ended up leaving school with nothing, And it was only, sorry if I'm getting upset.
Oh, it's all right, kid.
Yeah.
Well, for me, you know, you say you couldn't apply yourself at school, yeah?
Yeah.
But if you look what you achieved after,
Yeah.
once you got a job,
that was all right.
Yeah, definitely.
That was just a stroke of luck how that happened. You know, it's a shame. Like there was an electrician at the house doing some wiring for us. He had a young apprentice. He's only 18, been in trouble, and they're trying to get him on an apprenticeship program. But because he hasn't got the English, maths, and science, they won't let him progress. And I just can't believe they've got young lads like this because they couldn't apply themselves at school and they're just getting absolutely, you know, I was in the same boat. It was just that I had a stroke of luck at, you know, sliding doors moment that sort of got me in.
Which is sometimes all you need, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, you know. So,
you know, if you look a decade plus, you know, before I was born and that, people were leaving school without anything, and lots of people have grown up in my life have made real achievements and they've had nothing.
Yeah.
It's just getting that break into it, mate.
Yeah, 100%.
Greatest struggle you have to overcome. You see, I have a few sets of questions. I hadn't read these questions before. I just picked them out this morning.
Yeah, it's okay.
And obviously, we're talking about it now, aren't we?
Yeah. My greatest struggle has been I lost contact with my son.
It's alright. I'll tell you what's happened, right? Two sides to every story. Mike had a son, and it has been, the last time he saw him, he was 7 years old. He's now 15. He spoke to him a couple of times, and probably his greatest wish right now would be that he could have contact with his son. Like I say, you know, hopefully, as part of this journey, but as you can see, it upsets the lad. Completely understand that. Do you know what I think on me, mate? That is always really sad. Yeah, relationships, you know, go wrong and stuff like that. Yeah. But the moment you find out, like, your loved one's pregnant, the family find out and all that, and then boom, it goes tits up. Yeah,
I mean, my family, I've got 3 sisters, my dad, my mum. I have got a good family, you know. My nan's still alive. She's not seen George, not seen my son for a long time either. And it's affected everybody. It's not just me, you know. I can be called whatever, you know, his mum wants to call me, but, you know, my mum and my dad didn't do anything wrong, you know, and neither did my sisters, and neither did anybody else. So it's just very painful that, you know, this world can allow something like this to happen.
Well, we've talked about this system, haven't we? Obviously, depending on relationships and safeguarding and stuff. However, there's far too many people, you know, get separated from the kids, and it ruins you.
Yeah, and that's my main goal out of all of this. Like, I wouldn't want to wish this shit on anybody, and you know what I mean. I just want to say, you know, going forward, if you have problems in your relationship, you know, there are ways of dealing with things properly, and if you try to deal with things your own way, that's when you're going to fall down, and that's when it's all going to come falling down around you, which is what happened to me. So yeah, that's my main goal out of this. It's just basically to tell.
Get yourself well.
Yeah, obviously.
And reconnect with your family.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Tough gig. Again, these questions. What would happiness mean to you? So,
happiness for me. I am happy. I met my current partner 5 years ago, and although the circumstances weren't perfect when we met, she has turned out to be the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. You know, she's
your rock.
Yeah, 100%.
It's all right. Listen.
I know.
No. We knew it was going to be like this, didn't we?
Yeah.
You'll be setting me off in a minute, kid.
I know.
Small steps, yeah?
Yeah. 100%.
Are you worried about what others think about you?
Yeah, I always have been. Yeah, all my life, yeah. I don't know why that is. I'm like that. It's just, I care too much sometimes, and I do care what people think, and like I say, you know, when I lost contact with my son, you know, all sorts was said about me that wasn't true, and it's been difficult to overcome that, because even to this day it affects me, you know.
Of course it does.
People at work found out, you know, my family were looking at it, you know. It was just one person talking absolute shite, but as you say, if you throw enough mud, some of it will stick.
As a society, we are very quick to judge people. Yeah. You know, it's not about facts or anything like that. It never has been.
Not when it comes to family-related stuff. Civil-related stuff is about what one person can say to damage the other person in order to get what they want, and none of it's fact-checked. None of it's looked at. It's all done on the balance of probability.
Yeah, and if you care, it's obviously going to affect you, isn't it?
In criminal court, it's beyond reasonable doubt. Civil court, it's on the balance of probability. No, it shouldn't be that way. It should always be beyond reasonable doubt. It shouldn't be.
No. Definitely.
You know, it's, yeah.
Few lighter questions now.
Yeah.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I'd probably say I'm a pasta type person. I love me takeaways. But if my missus is doing a spag bol, that's my favourite meal of the weekend. Or,
is it your favourite meal because your missus is making and it has to be your favourite meal? Or
yeah, you can just make a spag bol whatever you want. You can put as much meat in it, as much cheese on it, as much pasta in it, as much sauce in it as you want. You can just make it your own, can't you? But takeaway wise, it has to be for me Indian takeaway. That's my favourite. Yeah,
we're on 100%. The same field. Same field.
Yeah.
Right, beach or camping?
Beach. I've never done camping before.
That's something you need to do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Missus, kids.
Yeah.
Pork pie or cake? Before you answer this, quite a few people have asked me what a pork pie is. Pork pie is pork, probably not the best cuts, cooked in a water pastry with gelatine added.
Yeah, I can't stand that.
No?
No. That's all types of wrongness.
So you'd be a cake man?
I haven't even got a sweet tooth, but yeah, out the two, it'd be cake.
Again, this question, we're not going to shy of beer or wine?
Well, I've had both of them for periods
in my life. You started on Stella,
yeah,
but because of health complications, you had to come off that.
And then I went to wine and lemonade, and then from that I went to strong spirits, and that was sending me daft.
Yeah.
And then I then went on to Prosecco. So I'd probably say wine, just because I could get that down now. But I couldn't drink a can of Stella if, you know, you paid me.
What are your thoughts? This always for me comes up, right? You know, people going about tackling a drug problem.
Yeah.
Drugs pandemic. We're gonna take them head on. Who's taking alcohol on? You don't need a dealer. You can go in garage opposite. You can go in a corner shop.
Yeah.
You can buy it anywhere. No one's limiting it. I can go and buy 20 bottles of spirits today.
I think in anybody's life who's having struggles, substances that are out there, my belief is that no one person is a professional at dealing with their problems. They need somebody professional to help them, and that, because it's so far wide and spread, the world just does not have enough resources to help everybody, does it? And that's why it's sort of left to if you want to help, you come to us, sort of thing, and then you've got to jump through a million hoops before you know, even to get to the stage that I'm at now, and I'm still awaiting detox and rehab. You know,
that's the hope in it for the future that we can.
This has been going on, mental health issues like this, for 10 years. I've been desperate for help for 10 years. We're only now that my life's completely crashed. This is the time now where you know.
Well, we've already said, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's either get yourself well, lead a happy life.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
The alcohol thing. It's like I say to you. Why do we have cigarettes and alcohol in the world? Why are they there? I mean, yeah, it's there because people make money out of it, but it's a vice, and them vices, no matter what anybody says, will lead to the next vice and the next vice. People know,
don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, smoking, someone might be critical of you. Yeah, well, I'm depressed, I don't drink or whatever, yet they'll smoke knowing now that the chances are it's going to give you cancer or whatever.
Yeah,
and other illnesses.
Yeah, it's to me, don't get me wrong, people may go through their life. I've met a lot of people, and you don't know everybody's stories, but they can have these things in their life and they're not a problem to them. But you know, they might be living a completely different life to you, where alcohol in my life just gave me a lift. It was like, right, the problems have gone away for a night. I mean, they never do. And then when your body gets used to a couple of cans a night, then it'll be 4 cans a night in 6 months, then it'll be 6 cans, and it'll be 8 cans, and then before you know it, you know, you are a functioning alcoholic, especially if you're a working person.
You have always worked.
Yeah. Yeah, you just...
I'll tell you what, mate. Mikey boy. Might call him Mikey boy now.
Yeah, whatever you want, mate, yeah.
I'll tell you what, during lockdown, alcohol consumption, my local spa said their alcohol sales have gone up 300%. The amount of people becoming registered alcoholics, the amount of deaths related to alcohol have gone through the roof. So that's probably normal people managing lockdown, money worries and that, and like you say, it's the easiest thing to grab hold of, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's just there, you know.
We've done it.
Yeah, we could throw a stone, and there's a shop just down the road there where I've probably spent the best part of $5,000 in the last 5 years buying alcohol. You know, it doesn't sound a lot, but it's like I say, it's between 5 and 10 quid a day is my fix. That used to be 4, 6, 8 cans of lager a day. So, because you're working, you've always got that revolving money coming through. It's not costing anybody else, it's just costing you. But it's like putting fuel in your car. It's just, you need to do it, and you find a way to do it no matter what. And that's when you're at that point, and this is where I'm at. This is where it's all got out of hand, and sometimes it takes people tens of years to realise it.
Of course it does.
But if you are drinking every day, it's as simple as this. If you are drinking every day, you know, you've got a problem, and you need a little bit of help.
It don't get recognised, does it?
No, it doesn't. It just completely
I have
get left.
Friends who drink 2 bottles of wine every night.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
You don't
Easy
see
work, yeah.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can sweeten it all up as well. So sometimes it's just like drinking fruit juice, you know, and it is dangerous, and you know, you're putting yourself at risk, other people's lives at risk. You know, it's nothing to be proud of. Some people's bodies, like my body, it's like, you know, as I've explained to you before, it metabolises stuff at like a fast rate, and I gave you a couple of examples, didn't I?
Yeah.
But it's, you know, in my worst states, that's a ticket for me to go and take the piss, basically, where you shouldn't be thinking like that. It should be, how have you got yourself in this position? You know, it's just not right.
Well, it's not easy, because if it were easy, people would...
And my body's not what it used to be. Like, 10 years ago, I could get away with it, you know, in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
Now I'm in mid-30s. I sit, like, my body has physically crashed. I've got issues with me, esophagitis, stomach ulcers.
Yeah.
You know, I can't keep food down. I vomit every day.
Yeah.
It's completely destroyed my stomach, and I'm 36. You know.
But you have a chance to.
Yeah.
turn some of this around.
This is what the detox and the rehab's all about. Is if they fund it for me and they get me in there, but that's still, you know.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
These questions were originally for a young lady, so I'm going to ask you this again. Jeans or dress?
Jeans for me, 100%. Yeah.
Trackies or jeans?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate or milk?
Milk.
Coffee or tea?
Tea. I had to stop drinking coffee because I went through a period of not being able to sleep. So when I lost contact with my son, I went to eating one meal a day, and I also went to stretching 3 or 4 days without eating. And the only way I could do it is we used to have a brew machine at work where you used to get 10 pence coffees from.
Yeah.
So I'd have one in the morning when I got in, one at brew time, one at dinner time, one at brew time, probably one just before I left work. And I didn't realise how much caffeine I was taking in. And I was having mad sleeping problems, like literally being awake for 2 or 3 days, like thinking about my car tax, car insurance, am I buying this, or what have I got to do there,
It's
this
a
bill,
thought
that bill.
process, isn't it?
Yeah. And then when I spoke to my doctor about it, they prescribed me Zopiclone sleeping tablets, and that's how I ended up with the
They are
sleeping
highly
tablet.
addictive, them.
Fucking hell, I couldn't believe it. Literally,
They are.
I used to drink and then I'd take a couple of these tablets and you know what, to basically try and stay awake on them. That's where the buzz comes from, almost, is you're trying to keep awake and you physically can't. But
I think now, you know, they only prescribe like Zoppies for 3 days or something like that.
yeah, they just I think I got something like a 2 or 3 week course.
Was that it?
Yeah, and then as soon as he stopped him, obviously couldn't sleep straight away, and then I was buying night or one a night then from the chemist, and that just, you know, that went from having a couple to 4 to 8.
Did you have to shop about different places? Or was
I
you selling
didn't do a lot of it in the beginning. It's like I say, my partner at the time.
Were they buying them for you?
Yeah. And with the painkillers as well. As soon as the painkillers stopped, you know, she basically started buying me Sulfadine Max tablets. So I used to have about 10 of them in a glass of water in the morning, do a day's work, and then depending on how I felt, either the alcohol would take the pain away when I'd finished work, or I'd have to have another glass, and then the night or one a night, you know. But this was all after having normal prescriptions from doctors, and then effectively obtaining an addiction out of it, because I just have an addictive personality. I don't gamble, because if I gambled, I would be broke on the streets of Manchester with nothing. Do you know what I mean? I will, if I start on something, I will take it to its limit, where...
Which is what you've done with alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
I think it's worth noting, right? So we have a little plan. We don't know where it's going to go. We're going to meet once a week, maybe a 10-15 minute chat. I'm going to record. We're going to put them together, and I'm hoping that Mikey boy here, at some point, I don't know what'll happen if you can't get a detox, but you say, you have gone from 4 bottles to 2.
To 2, yeah. And
you are going to try and cut it further before you go in for detox.
Yeah, I've basically halved and have removed the sleeping tablets from the equation, because that was, you know, I can't remember if I sent you the videos of myself or whether I've shown them you, but I've been in some bad states. I don't remember. So I've cut that in half. So I haven't had any of them drug-induced psychosis, or whatever you want to call it. I've not had any of that since the last one in January, where I was arrested and ended up in a load of trouble. But yeah, like the what I've got to do is I've got to do 6 1 hour like interview type sessions with Achieve Greater Manchester achieve.
Yep.
Yeah. And in them sessions, after 3 of the sessions, that's when they will apply for the funding. So it's almost like an application process. Are you fit enough? Are you gonna respond well enough?
That's what I was going to ask you. Do they look at it like there's got to be a good chance of you going through detox and coming out the other side?
Yeah.
And if they don't consider there is, then they're not putting you in for it.
It's about money at the end of the day, and it's like all I will say to anybody is if you are, you know, even if your life's completely crashed and you're in the same boat, or you know, things are much worse for you. I've got a roof above my head, and you know, I'm in a certain space in my life, but you know, I can't function, I can't work, I've got no memory. You know, my life is completely stopped, and it isn't going to restart now until I'm over this period in my life, and I'm back to a clean way of living, and I've recovered to some degree. But I can see where people will end up where I am now, and the guy said it even when I sat down with him. He said this is why we have to do these 6 sessions, because you know, we have spent millions and millions and millions over the years throwing rehabs at people that basically go in for 2 days, manipulate the way out, and then within the space of a week they're back on the streets of Manchester drinking, taking
they
drugs.
want people to be successful, don't they?
Yeah.
They want the money to go on people who are in with a chance.
And everybody can be successful, but it's like, you know, at our local Tesco here, you see I see them every time I go in. There's two lads that must be in the mid-40s, no teeth. You can tell that, you know, they've been strong heroin addicts or something like that. And I always buy them a sandwich when I'm in there. That's all I ever buy them. You know, I never ever give change. And I would say to anybody, all you're doing if you give these people money is you are just powering the vehicle. Basically, they're just going to go straight away, get the drugs that they need, and carry on that way. So you're not helping them. That money's not helping them. Get them something to eat. And I always say the same thing to them: just get some help. The help is out there, you know what I mean. But some people, I understand, are just too far gone, you know. And they're the people that, unfortunately, they're not going to help. And that's, you know, that's the bottom line that I can see is if you've got to that stage, you've got a serious amount of effort to put in before you'll be considered for rehab, which is wrong, really. Really, they need...
It's a sad state of affairs, isn't it? It doesn't get the coverage it needs.
No.
You know, prison service, prime example. I work with plenty of people who are alcoholics.
Yeah.
People get upset. You call them alcoholics, but they were alcoholics.
Yeah.
But even then, you know, the prison service has a duty of care. If it had approached someone, and I'm thinking of one guy in particular, which they did, because it was obvious, all the cons knew, everyone knew, and said like, "Oh, you alcoholic?" No.
Yeah.
They never caught him out. If they had he'd have said, "Yeah, I am alcoholic." They'd have had to give him help. But he couldn't admit it. And they, if they want to catch someone out, you can catch someone out. You can breathalyze people going into work. People are like human rights. But
my opinion is, you know, for years, really, the whole world could brush itself up, especially in the workplace. You know, nobody needs to be vilified because they take drugs or you know, doing a few lines of cocaine at a weekend. You know, and I've never done that. I'm not into that side of life. But you know, you can see how a party drug is when you sit down to have a couple of beers with somebody, and their couple of beers is 70 quid, and my couple of beers is a tenner. Then at that point, you know, it's gone hand in hand. So if they're a functioning alcoholic but they can't drink without a sniff of coke, then all of a sudden it's in big trouble, and these people run up big debts, and then, you know, they're being told they're getting lifted, you know, by drug dealers, and then they go missing. You can't find them for months on end. They're riding away in flats and all sorts, you know what I mean? And it's just like that, you know. drug dealing and all that sort of stuff, you know, there's a special place in hell for you, you know what I mean? Eventually it'll all catch up, and hopefully if you do get caught, you go through the prison cycle or whatever, you sort yourselves out, right, fair enough. But all you have to remember is every time you're taking money for drugs is just take a step back and just think to yourself, look at the fucking damage I'm doing here. And it doesn't matter what car you're driving, whether it's a fast one, a shit one, if you've got the best trainers in the world, it's all false. It'll all be taken off you like that. Doesn't matter whether you've got £1 million mansion or you're living in your mum's fucking flat with boxes of trainers. It'll all fucking go.
Final question. How easy is it to get prescription drugs on the street?
It is very easy, yeah. It's, to be honest with you, it's just as easy getting it from the doctors than anything. The thing was with me is I admitted to my addiction. So when I went to the doctor, so I'd had my tablets stopped, and although I knew I was taking a lot of them at the time, the advice that I was getting in my home environment was to just basically keep going till the pain had subsided. So I did, and I knew absolutely nothing about codeine, opiate-based drugs, anything like that. I was just a drinker. I'd been around drugs all my life, as in party drugs.
Yep.
But opiates and codeine, I knew nothing about, and neither does any of my family. None of them had really, you know, frequented with any of that sort of stuff. So
yeah.
It was just, it was a new thing to me, and then it got ramped up, and then when they took that away, you know, I just basically had a cold turkey, if you like, which to me at the time was just like flu. It's like being in bed with the flu. Yeah, no.
Do you know how many people have told me that?
Yeah.
That they've had a prescription from the doctors,
and
then when they spoke to other people, or they've actually gone through a cold turkey.
Yeah. Well, that bit there is every single person who has had an accident at work or anything like that. You know, I know they don't talk about it often, but motorbike racers, they'll come off the bike, be smashed to fucking bits, and you know, they'll be on morphine, codeine, you name it, and some of them, you know, will actually have, you know, one or two of them have actually spoke about being addicted to them, you know. And it doesn't matter whether you're racing bikes in a glamorous lifestyle or Formula 1 cars, or whether you're just working a day job as a mechanic or a builder or somebody in an office. As soon as you get that taste of codeine tablet, it's like being in a bubble. Nothing can affect you. You could run through walls and it wouldn't bother you, you know what I mean? It's an insane, you know, and like I say, to the levels that I've got at, really 40 tablets is probably the only, it's an equivalent feeling to what 2 gave me when I first started.
Of course it will be.
So, you know, that's how far I don't know what it is, but it's something in your brain, innit, that just keeps adapting and adapting till the point that you end up in a stupid place.
Well, Mikey boy, that was probably the most serious 20 odd questions we've ever had.
Yep.
Is there anything else you'd like to say on a final note?
Just I feel like when I came across your channel, you know, the people that you've been interviewing, like Kira and Lee and Holly and Paul, isn't it, the ex-police officer?
Yeah, domestic violence.
These are the ones that are just sticking in my mind, but you can see on my YouTube, I've seen every video, and that's what's brought me to this point now, where, you know, I want to basically tell my story and try and repair myself. I know that good will come of it no matter what, because there is no animosity anymore. There is no I just want to have a decent life, and me son, the last time I spoke to him, he's in a bad way, and
you want to help him?
Yeah. I just want to get hold of him, and I want to get him in an apprenticeship, get him learning how to drive. You know, all the things that my dad did for me. Even though we had a period of time where, you know, he wasn't in my life, but it is unfortunately a little bit like history repeating itself. But I do believe, you know, all the bullshit that's been levelled at me, you know, will be unfolded. And, you know, I've got stacks of paperwork like this that doesn't lie, from courts, from solicitors.
It weighs heavy, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, I don't have any of it now. My solicitor keeps hold of it because I physically can't have it in the house.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
Mikey boy.
100%. Yeah. You're a star. Cheers.
Good
man.
lad.
Yeah, thank you.
Watch this space. Do you want to say Al City?
Al City.
Al City. Good effort. Good effort.